Happy Sibling Shanty Sunday!
I'm Sky.
I'm Sagan.
And we're siblings.
And we sing sea shanties and sea shanty adjacent music.
And it's week 29.
It is week 29.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Is that possible?
Well, week 28 was last week, so I'm going to go with yes.
Sure. Hope you're having a good week and enjoying your weekend here and ready to sing some shanties.
Because we've got some shanties for you here. So the first shanty of the day is a short drag shanty. Originally, this one originated somewhere in the mid-19th century, but specifically from Baltimore. So this is so if you're a Baltimore native, then so is this shanty. And it's called 100 Years Ago. And this one is, it's sort of, shanties tend to fall under a few different categories of sort of lyrical subject matter. There's the everything sucks on this ship and I want to go home shanty. There's oh boy, we're having a time out on the waves shanty. But there's also, I think this might be my favorite. Well, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's certainly a subgenre that I enjoy. Is the shanty that's at least a little goofy and is really just the shanty man. Was just sort of making it up as he went along.
Just for entertainment value.
Yeah. The I need to keep the crew entertained shanty. And this one is called 100 Years Ago, and it sort of pokes fun at sort of the things that people used to believe in the past
about
but the
world.
Past of when it was was written.
Right.
Sort of poking fun at those things, sort of like people thinking that the world is flat or the moon's made of cheese, or that sort of thing. But it's just call and response. So give me that G here. So the first response is, oh yes, oh yes, oh.
Easy.
And then the shantyman has a second line, and then the second response is 100 years ago.
Simple.
And it is super simple. It's a lot of fun.
And it's always interesting to hear all of the crazy things. And it's another one of these good ones that, like, if there were things that, that particular shantyman had heard, or maybe somebody else in the crew had, or if you're, doing this with others, you could add in other things that people had heard 100 years ago, or whatever. But anyway, meant to be fun. Ready?
It's 100 years on the eastern seaboard. Oh, yes, oh. It's 100 years on the eastern shore. 100 years ago. Now Bully John is the boy for me. Oh, yes, oh. He's a bucko on the land and a bully at the sea. 100 years ago. Oh, Bully John from Liverpool. Oh, yes, oh. I knew him well, the old damn fool. 100 years ago. Oh, Bully John, I knew him well, oh yes, oh, but now he's dead and gone to hell 100 years ago. Well, it's up aloft that I must go, oh yes, oh, oh, Mr. Mate, he told me so 100 years ago. Well, they used to say that a pig could fly, oh yes, oh, but I don't believe it's a bloody great lie 100 years ago. And they used to say that the world was square, oh yes, oh, but me no Columbus, he never got there 100 years ago. And they used to say that the world was flat, oh yes, oh, but I don't believe that 100 years ago. And they thought that the stars were satellite, oh yes, oh, by a bunch of angels every single night 100 years ago. And they thought that the moon was made of cheese, oh yes, oh, and you can think that if you please 100 years ago. Oh, they hung a man for making steam, oh yes, oh, they pitched his body in the stream 100 years ago. Well, a bottle of rum for every hand, oh yes, oh, and a bloody great drink for the shanty man 100 years years ago. Well, I thought I heard the old man say, oh, yes, so. Just one more pull and then be they 100 years ago. Yeah!
Yeah, you can definitely hear the, making this one up as we go and extending it as needed and, how many verses it has and what crazy stories we've heard.
Yep. Yeah, interesting. There's a lot of, I think this is the only shanty that I can think of. Oftentimes in folk songs, it's sort of about how like sort of good the old days used to be or that sort of thing. And this is definitely, at least like subject matter wise, it's a rarity to sort of think about, oh my gosh, in the past we thought the craziest things.
Yeah.
And there's sort of almost the unspoken question of, in 100 years, what are we going to think was that we think now is fine, but will be ridiculous in the future.
Something poking fun at that rather than being
a surprisingly
past.
surprisingly self-aware shanty. So this next one is also a favorite of ours. This one's a river shanty, but still a shanty. Dates back to at least 1876, where it's mentioned in a newspaper article, which probably means it was older than that.
Right.
But it mentions, so the song is Stowing Sugar in the Hold Below. And stowing sugar was, it would be sort of a human assembly line, sort of where there would be people lined up the gangplank, and then just sort of picking up, lifting the sugar and then putting it back down, and just sort of an assembly line of people picking things up and putting them down. And then piling them in the middle of, or not in the middle, but in the hold below. Spoiler alert, that's kind of how the chorus goes. But it mentions screwing cotton as something that's preferable to stowing sugar. Now, screwing cotton was they would put cotton down in the hold, but then they would use these jack screws behind big wooden panels to sort of essentially like tighten up the cotton to compress it as tightly as they could to fit as much cotton as they could into the area. And it was just really, really back-breaking work. Just a lot of physical labor just trying to get it as tight as possible. And so stowing sugar is, screwing cotton is something that's listed as preferable to stowing sugar, at least for the narrator here, which gives you an idea of perhaps how
much fun they were having.
How tedious, how much fun they were having. So there's something called the J.M. White, which was a steamboat, famous for sort of its technological advancements and extremely fast times along the Greenville to New Orleans trade routes. Also raced a number of fellow steamboats, had quite a record. Sort of the most famous story is that it was challenged by the Natchez, another steamboat, and during the race, the J.M. White suffered a pretty severe mechanical breakdown that they had to slow down to fix. They didn't stop entirely, but they did have to slow down to fix it. And then the J.M. White proceeded to catch up to the Natchez and overtake it to actually win the race, which gives you sort of an idea about how fast that vessel was. And the last thing, there's in the final verse, it talks about the captain on the quarterdeck and cries out, "Heave the larboard lead." And what that means refers to checking the depth of the river. The lead line was a rope with a lead weight on the end, similar to fathoming for a ship at sea. And they would drop the weight into the water and then measure the depth against marks along the length of the rope. And larboard, did we talk about larboard and starboard in this series, or did we talk about it in the Shanty a Day thing?
I think it was in our Shanty a Day. I don't know.
So larboard is a very archaic term for the port side of the ship. Larboard gradually became known as port because when you have larboard on one side and starboard on the other, and it's being shouted out, it can get very confusing as to what bird?
Which bird?
Which side?
Yeah.
Which side? So they're just like, we're just going to go with port instead of larboard because it doesn't rhyme with the other one. So heave the larboard lead would be measure the depth of the river over the port side of the boat.
Side. Yep.
It's the larboard lead on the left. Never mind.
Nope.
So this one has a chorus that everybody sings along with. So the chorus goes like this. Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below. Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below. Nice. Pretty simple. Yeah, nice. I like it. Yeah, this one's a lot of fun to sort of belt out. But yeah, that's about all there is to this one.
You got it.
You got it? Oh boy. I wish I was in Mobile Bay, screwing cotton all the day, but I'm stowing sugar in the hold below, stowing sugar in the hold below. Huh! Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hold below. Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below. Oh, the JM wine, she's a new design. Stem to stern, she's mighty fine. Can beat any boat on the New Orleans line. Stowing sugar in the hole below. Huh! Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below. Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below. The engineer shouts through his trumpet. Tell the mate we got bad news. Can't get any steam for the fire in the flue. Stowing sugar in the hole below. Huh! Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below. Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below. Well, here I am, I got the Delta blues. Stowing sugar without shoes. I stub my foot, I get a broken toe. Stowing sugar in the hole below. Ah! Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below. Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below. The captain's on the quarterdeck, scratching away at his old neck, and he cries out, heave the larboard lead, stowing sugar in the hole below. Ah! Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below. Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below. Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below. Hey ho, below, below, stowing sugar in the hole below.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun.
And you can hear musically, like you can in many of these, some of the origins of that and the music, the influence.
Yeah, that's not a melodic line that originated from Britain.
No, absolutely not. This is music that you're hearing it in the melodic material and the harmonic material that we're imitating here is. The influence of African melodic tunes and Caribbean melodic tunes. So definitely would have been something that would have been highly influenced by Black and people of color that were a part of that experience at the time. And again, giving credit where credit is due there, of so many of these folk songs are amalgamations of a lot of different musical traditions that way, and don't always give credit, of course, to people of color, but you can hear it in the music that way. And be sure to check out, we always link below, we've got a playlist plus a bunch of educational sources of the contributions of people of color, particularly Black Americans, to the sea shanty folk tradition that way. So be sure to check those things out because there's some really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we have one more.
We do have one more. And this one originated up north, even though it talks about a way down south. So this one's called "Roll the Woodpile Down," and this is a pumping or capstan shanty. So fascinatingly, this one originally started in a 1887 Broadway play called Pete, with lyrics by Edward Harrigan and music by David Bram, but made its way out to sea. Not really sure how. Perhaps there was
to see a show while
I was gonna say a shanty man who went to see a show and was like,
that one. I'll take that one.
I'll take that one with me. But made its way out to sea and then was collected in its shanty form in the early 1900s. Fascinatingly enough.
Mm-hmm.
So this one has calls and responses and a chorus. So the Shantyman has one line, and then the first response is, "Way down in Florida." Is that right?
I don't
know. Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Way down in Florida. Simple enough. And then the Shantyman has a second line.
Really
That's true.
Yeah.
The chorus does get a little high there. And then the second line is, "And we'll roll the woodpile down."
That still feels low to me.
That still feels low.
I know.
Rolling. Whoa. Oh, way down. Way down. Rolling.
Nope.
We
Just
practiced
make a
this.
good key.
Way down south. Way down. Okay, yeah,
Sure.
there we go. So the first response is, "Way down in Florida." And then the second response is, "And we'll roll the woodpile down." And we'll roll the woodpile
Sometimes our
down.
computer program changes things
Uh-huh.
and converts them. Like,
Yep.
my favorite is anytime it's in the key of E, the computer thinks that we mean a euro instead of...
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to try and fix it. But then the chorus is, "Rolling, rolling, rolling the whole world round that fine gal of mine's on the Georgia line, and we'll roll the woodpile down." That fine gal of mine's on the Georgia line. That fine gal of mine is on the Georgia line.
Right.
Except you just say it as if it's the entire sentence is just one big contraction. And woodpile here would be talking about essentially woodpile as in like the ship.
Right.
Is
This
a pile of wood. And that's about all there is to this one.
Yep. Bag of wood.
Yep. That's right.
But here we are anyway.
An affectionate nickname.
Yeah. A semi-affectionate nickname.
Semi-affectionate.
Yeah. Ready?
Are you ready?
I guess we'll find out.
Oh, way down south where the cocks do crow, way down in Florida, them girls all dance to the old banjo, and we'll roll the woodpile down. Rolling, rolling, rolling the whole world round that fine gal of mine's on the Georgia line, and we'll roll the woodpile down. Oh, what can you do in Tampa Bay?
Hey!
Way down in Florida, but give them pretty girls all your pay, and we'll roll the woodpile down. Rolling, rolling, rolling the whole world round that fine gal of mine's on the Georgia line, and we'll roll the woodpile down. We'll roll 'em high and we'll roll 'em low.
Hey!
Way down in Florida, we'll roll her up and away we'll go, and we'll roll the woodpile down. Rolling, rolling, rolling the whole world round that fine gal of mine's on the Georgia line, and we'll roll the woodpile down. Oh, roust and bust her is the cry, way down in Florida. A sailor's wage is never high, and we'll roll the woodpile down. Rolling, rolling, rolling the whole world round that fine gal of mine's on the Georgia line, and we'll roll the woodpile down. Oh, one more pull, and that will do. way down and for it up. For we're the boys to kick her through, and we'll roll the woodpile down. Rolling, rolling, rolling the whole world round. That flying gala mines on the Georgia line, and we'll roll the woodpile down. Rolling, rolling, rolling the whole world round. That fine gala mines on the Georgia line, and we'll roll the woodpile down.
Also a lot of fun.
Yes, also a lot of fun. Yeah.
Like the good old woodpile.
The good old woodpile.
Roll that woodpile.
Yep. The alleged ship.
Yes. Ship. In quotations.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There's your set of shanties for the week. Yeah, all sorts of fun things. Mm-hmm. Whale, as always, links below to all sorts of fun things. Mm-hmm. If you haven't bought the new Femme de la Mer album, you should do that.
It's very good.
If you're in the U.S., particularly, southeastern U.S., and then like headed towards the West Coast, and then the eastern part of Canada, Toronto and Montreal, if you live in those places, you should buy your tickets to go see the Longest Johns. Will be on tour here in the next few months, hitting areas that they haven't hit before, except some of us are crazy and we're just going to drive to Canada because why not?
We were going to be in the neighborhood.
Were we? I don't know.
Yes.
But it's fine.
We're going to drive to the neighborhood and then be in it.
Yes, and then be in it.
Specifically at the times when they are also there.
But get your tickets because if they didn't hit you before, they're probably somewhere near you this time. And 100% well worth the price of admission.
Oh my God, they're so great live.
New Dreadnoughts album that's been out for a little while.
Yeah.
New music coming from all sorts of folks here, and people out and performing live, and go support stuff and do the thing. I don't know.
So yeah.
Okay. Hey, be safe. We love you, and we'll see you again next Sunday.
Bye.